Hey y'all, it's Bojo. Welcome back to a new podcast episode number 9 of Dylcast. I'm here with Zack Steinman. Once again, he was actually on the first ever episode, if you guys recall. And he's back for episode number 9. Zack, how are you today?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
So today, we're going to be talking about the trade deadline. If you guys recall, me and Austin did one on episode 8. We did one about all the deals coming up until the deadline, but we didn't do the deals that actually were on the deadline, and that's what me and Zach are going to be doing today. So in case you didn't know, wherever you're listening to, you always know you can listen on one of these platforms, and they are YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And if you want updates on your favorite podcast, just go ahead on Instagram and go to @Dylcast_ and check it out. And you'll get all the new updates on the new podcast episodes. You'll be all up to date in front of everybody, all your friends, saying, "Oh, I know when the next Dylcast episode is going to be." Although that sounds kind of weird, but yeah. So we're going to be talking about every trade that happened on February 24th. I believe this was the most active deadline of NHL history.
Could have been.
Yeah, there was a lot of trades.
Stuff going around.
Yeah.
Small moves and big moves, but. I guess we could start on February. Where do you want to start? Let's see what we got here. And
the first trade that actually happened of the deadline of the day, to be honest, in the middle of the night for us at least, was Mike Green getting dealt to the Edmonton Oilers.
Yes, I did see that coming.
And then the Red Wings got Kyle Brodziak and a conditional 4th-round pick. Zach, do you want to talk about this one a little bit? Do you want to talk about this one a little bit? Sorry.
Yeah. Your channel, Dylcast, best channel there is. Let's hear it. Let's see what you got on it.
Oh, you want me to do it?
We'll both go at it. We'll see who you think won the trade and values of the trade.
All right, yeah. So, obviously, Mike Green's a solid defender. Not obviously a very good one, but okay. This guy has 11 points this year, and he has 50 games played. That's a yikes. Forgot to mention his contract is $5.25 million. Fortunately for Edmonton, this contract expires this year, so that'll be a lot easier for Edmonton to just say have him for a 1-year rental and just get him out of here. Kyle Brodziak, on the other hand, let me just search up his stats. Kyle. I don't have him on here. Do I know? All right, I don't have Kyle Brodziak, but do you want to say your take on the trade?
Okay, let's see what I got on this. Again, as you said, Mike Green not having the greatest of the years he's been playing with, but we got Kyle Brodziak here, who this year has, this year with Edmonton and now with Detroit.
He's got 9 points in 70 games.
It's not.
Oh, that was last year. Never mind, that was last year. But
no,
that was last year.
But this year, it's kind of you can't really totally tally it down. But out of what I can see right now, not the greatest of years by this guy.
To be honest, I don't even think he played. He's played this year.
He's had a couple good years, but it's not.
Has he played this year? I think he's been injured the whole time.
I'm not even sure, but doesn't sound like he has.
It says statistics are not available. So.
Yeah, it's not showing me that. Like, this guy is kind of injury prone, or he's only he started in 2005, 2006. Played 10 games that year, but for the rest of his whole career up to 2018-19, he's only finished a full season one time. Played 82 games in 2 of those seasons. The rest of them, he's going from 70 games, 69 games, 48 games there was one season, and kind of an on and off guy for this guy.
Yeah, so Max is just sneaking in here. Hopefully you guys don't hear him. But yeah, no, this trade is kind of a nothing trade. If you looked at this trade maybe like a year or two ago, this would have been a lot more like important. But now Edmonton gets a defenseman that can't really do much, whereas Detroit gets a forward that can't really do much. As well, they get a conditional 4th-round pick, which I think is the biggest asset in the deal. No offense to Mike Green.
Agreed.
The next.
What I also want to recall is going back one trade. We're going to the night before. Mm-hmm. Montreal dealt Ilya Kovalchuk, who was recently acquired after being taken away from the LA Kings, and he was sent to Washington. Mm-hmm. So, what are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I think, Kovalchuk's had an off year, but you can't blame the guy. He's 36 years old, back in the NHL. He came back last year, the year before, I can't remember. Montreal, he was kind of tearing it up in Montreal. I don't recall him tearing it up in LA though. If the Canadiens wanted a tiny shot at making the playoffs, they needed Kovalchuk, and then those hopes just go away, and it's only for a 2023 round pick. So, if I like Kovalchuk, but I do not like this deal for the Montreal Canadiens. The Caps are stacking up. I think they are either first or second in, title cup contenders. Yeah.
So something I'm going to go back to is if I can't remember, but if you guys have discussed the trades from Jack Campbell, Kyle Clifford, that big trade with LA on the last podcast.
Yeah, we did, but you can talk about it. It's all good.
I'm going to say on this trade, it's kind of a fair-based trade, let's say. The Leafs are getting a backup who named Jack Campbell, plus a Kyle Clifford, trading away Trevor Moore, a 2020 third-round pick, and a 2021 conditional third-round pick. In this trade, I think the Leafs took the win in this one. Kyle Clifford, who is friends with Leafs defenseman Jake Muzzin, both with Stanley Cup experience, which is good for the team. And the only thing this team needs to go with right now is playing style. This team has been off, and they need to work and get better to the job.
Yeah, and the job that the Leafs have been playing, well, if you want to know that, just listen to the last week's podcast. So yeah, that deal I do think helps out the Leafs a lot. They only have one player that's really gritty, other than Clifford, and that was Muzzin. Now they have Clifford to help out their grittiness, get in those fights. That's exactly what we need. He was actually the one to injure one of the goalies in the Hurricanes game. So he's got that style to him, which I really like.
Another trade I want to go over is the Tyler Toffoli trade, which was a big one on the Vancouver Canucks. Speaking of Toffoli, who scored a game winner the other night, and what are your thoughts on the Toffoli trade going to Vancouver?
Well, I think this is something that Vancouver needs. If you look at the standings in the wild card for the West, and you look at the Pacific, it is so narrow. Literally, Vancouver is maybe a win or two, a loss or two away. Loss or two away from not being in a playoff spot. So Tyler Toffoli is exactly what they need to keep them in that position. Personally, I like the Vancouver Canucks team. It is really, really nice. And this Tyler Toffoli guy, he's really great. in real life, and if he brings or what he did it for LA, if he brings that to Vancouver, I believe the Canucks can be a conference finals team. If they again if everybody plays well, including Toffoli in the playoffs. And to be honest, if they it's very close, but I can see a world where the Canucks make the finals. Like there is something like that. But whereas like
Agreed.
there's like Nashville, like no, they're not gonna make it, right?
Yeah. So another thing about Vancouver, it's great timing on Vancouver for putting that Toffoli deal in and locking it up. Also because of the recent injury of Canucks star Brock Besser, who is out for the year. So what I'm going to say right now is Toffoli, he could be the new duo with Pettersson. Elias Pettersson used to be Besser and Pettersson, but now that Besser's gone, could be a whole new story right here for the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay, so let's get back to the deadline here. So another deal that struck in the morning was Vladislav Nemesnikov being traded to the Colorado Avalanche for a 2021 fourth-round pick. It's crazy how this guy got so much worse. It is really sad. I feel really bad for him, but he just got so much worse.
Yeah, this guy's been traded multiple times this year. If you look all the way back down at the bottom of the page, you'll see how he was traded in October from New York to Ottawa. In the deadline, he gets dished from Ottawa.
Yeah. Mesnikov was traded to Ottawa for Nick Ebert, never heard of the guy, and another 2021 fourth-round pick. So what we're saying here is not only did Vladislav Mesnikov turn into a solid player who can get a lot better, and then he turned into a guy that's getting traded for a nobody and a 2021 fourth-round pick, and then get rid of that nobody. He's just being traded for a 2021 fourth-round pick. That is just sad for Nemesnikov. I feel really bad for the guy. But like I hope he can get his butt on the road and play well for Colorado. Because again, talking about the standings, Colorado.
And yeah.
You know, like.
And yeah. Earlier this year, I was in Ottawa. As if you guys don't know, I'm a Philadelphia Flyers fan and a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. So I was out in Ottawa on a Saturday night to watch the Flyers. We drove from Toronto. We went out to Ottawa, my family, and we watched the Flyers and the Senators go at it. It was a great game. It went to the shootout. And what I realized in that game is that Ottawa, not the greatest of teams, but they have the talent and they can get through. And coming with the name of Vladislav Nemesnikov, that guy has hands. And being traded everywhere, it's not the greatest of things because you kind of got to get used to your line and stay with who you got. That guy has mitts and he could fire the puck if he really needed to.
Okay, so the next deal was a pretty big one, which I think Ottawa won. Back-to-back trades for Ottawa. It was Jean-Gabriel Pageau to the New York Islanders for a 2021 conditional first-round pick. That can be a non-playoff pick. 2021 second-round pick. That can be a solid pick. 2022 conditional third. That doesn't really matter. I really like Jean-Gabriel Pageau, but I also do really like this Senators, this deal for the Senators. Zach, do you want to talk a little bit more about this?
Well, on this one, we look below in the description. It says, for these, it says the 2020 first-round pick, which is the conditional one. It says the 2020 first-round pick shifts to a 2021 first-round pick if the Islanders pick in the top 3 this year. But the 2022 third-round pick will only transfer to the Senators if the Islanders win the Cup this year. So what we're going through on this trade is saying a big guy like Jean-Gabriel Pageau, if we bring up his stats right now, Jean-Gabriel Pageau, this guy has had an absolute blooming start of his year this year. No one really brings up this guy, and no one says, oh, look at Jean-Gabriel Pageau, he's so good. But if you look at this guy's year this year has been quite good. He's racking up 41 points in 61 games, 25 goals, 16 assists, and he's plus 11 on his plus minuses right now. So this guy is like kind of a big trade asset right here. The guy's 27, and like there's not really much to say about this guy. He has a bright future, and I believe great about this guy. And he was a sleeper in the draft. He was a 4th round, 5th pick, 96 overall. So I don't know about this trade, but in all fairness, I think the Islanders totally snagged it. And things I've seen recently from Ottawa is whenever they get a good player, they trade them away. They're trying to do a rebuild, but it's not going to work if you trade all your good players away. And
all they got is Shabbat, to be honest. Duclair, maybe. Isn't it sad how Anthony Duclair's at the All-Star game? Like, that's sad. If I was the NHL, like the leader of the NHL in the All-Star game, I'd get Shabbat to come here. I don't think he's ever been to a playoff, an All-Star game, but whatever.
The man deserves it. He's a great player.
Yeah. Like I said, like you said, Jean-Gabriel Pageau had a great year. I think this is really a win-win trade because this pick can go either way. And the Islanders get a very well-needed player on their team. And this is just a win-win situation. I see and Ottawa's just getting more first-round picks. And that's honestly what they need if they want to win. So, that's what I have. That's what we have about this trade. Now the next trade was a pretty big one. This was, I think, like
trade is one of the biggest ones in my opinion on this total thing, but let's see what it's going to.
I think this is like the best player to be moved over the deadline. You can argue, but Vincent Trocheck was dealt to Carolina for Erik Haula, Lucas Wallmark, Eetu Luosterainen, and Chase Priskie. I don't know much about the other two guys. I'm assuming they're prospects, but that's not really the big pieces. If they turn into a great player, then we won't even know what Carolina was thinking. But as of right now, I think Carolina won this. I like Erik Haula's game. I like Lucas Wallmark's game. And I really like Vincent Trocheck's game. Do you want to talk about this one a little bit more, Zach?
I was recalling that I'm a Flyers fan. Again, this year I've been to Ottawa, as I recall, in the Nemestikov deal. I recently went out to Florida to see the Flyers play. And I stayed in Florida for a week. I saw the Flyers and the Panthers. Off topic right here, but great game by the Flyers, 6-2 win. But what I like to see on that game is how the Panthers, giving up 6 goals is big, but seeing how they played is they have an okay playing style, I'm not going to lie. I like how Trocheck can pass that puck around and totally get onto the breakaway and get to the races fast. But in this trade, it's all wins for Carolina right here because as we go on, multiple trades will show, and Carolina is involved in some of them, I believe, as they did get a few people. But honestly, if we're going to skip right to the end right here, I'd say Carolina's won the best moves of the deadline. But let's see what you guys think after we get through all these trades right here.
Yeah, so if I'm going to talk about this also a little bit more. Compared to last year, he's had a better year. In 2017, he popped off. He had 75 points. But he slowed down a little bit. He's got 36 on the year. That's already more than last year, and he's already played the same amount of games. This guy can be much better. He can play very... that was my phone. My bad, guys. He can play... with this Carolina team that is absolutely stacked now, he can just be even better. But let's look on the Florida side of things. They get Erik Haula, a guy who's got 22 points in 42 games this year. a very solid center for what used to be Vegas and Carolina. 22 points on the year, 42 games played. I think that, this guy, he's been plagued with injuries, but if he, again, if he plays very well with Florida, like he did with Vegas, then like in 2017 when he got 55 points, if he plays like that, Iricala, then I think this will be a great year for Florida. Maybe a playoff year. You never know. The next.
Always shots at.
What?
Always shots at it. You never know.
Yeah. Nate Thompson to the Flyers. You're a Flyers for a 2021 fifth round pick. This is all you. You're a Flyers fan, so.
Okay, guys. As I recall telling you, I am a Philadelphia Flyers fan, and my perspective of this trade can go kind of a win for the Flyers. I'm not going to be biased on this, but I think the Flyers take this one in the bag. Giving up a 2021 fifth round pick, it's not really much, but I'm going to pull up Nate Thompson's stats. They're not the greatest. Thompson's a veteran, and he's 35 years of age, but it's something for the Flyers around a third or a fourth line, which can help them. This year, he's not the greatest of players, but has 14 points in 64 games. Pretty crappy. But if we take a look on, where is it? February 25th, playing against San Jose with the Flyers on his first game. He's -1, only with one shot on net, but he had around 12 minutes and 44 seconds of ice time. So this guy is going to be on the watch. We never know about this guy, but hopefully he can do something for the team.
I know you're talking about all these good things about him, but hate to break it to you, Zach. This guy's played 64 games and he's got 14 points.
Hey, no lies right here. Honestly, I hope he does something for the team, but
this guy is, next deal, which is really big. I'm surprised San Jose got this little back, is Patrick Marleau to the Penguins for a 2021 third round pick. Patty Marleau, a former Leaf. I liked his game, but now he's gone. At the beginning of the year, I'm pretty sure he played very well, but now a little bit worse. Spending 2 years in Toronto, going back to San Jose, now in Pittsburgh. He hasn't scored any goals yet, but he's played pretty well this season. I mean, compared to last year, he scored 37 points, which is pretty good, but it's not what we needed. That's why we got rid of him. I thought it was smart by San Jose to bring him back, but I feel like he has his potential. Even though he's 40 years old, his potential can shoot up so much higher now that he's on the Penguins.
Yeah, again, playing with players like Crosby and Malkin and with the talent on the team, could be a different story on this guy.
Okay.
It says under the trade, it says the third round pick becomes a second rounder if Penguins win the Stanley Cup. So, you never know on this one. And let's head up to the next one.
Yeah. Just talking about what San Jose gets back. That's going to be a nothing pick, really, to be honest. Yeah. Then this is a Leafs deal, which sent Calle Rosen back to Toronto. He was actually in the Nazem Kadri deal. And Michael Hutchinson, thank the Lord, he's off to Colorado.
Leafs fans at the party, so.
Yeah, this guy is probably, I don't know, but this guy might be
the playoff percentage drops every time this guy starts the net. Honestly, I have, absolutely, I'm fine with the guy, but his goaltending skills need a heck ton of work.
Yeah, I believe this is the worst Toronto Maple Leafs goalie of all time, and there has been many bad goalies for the team. All right, next deal. This is another Flyers deal for you, Zach. You can handle it. You guys traded away Kyle Chris Cuolo and a 2024 round pick. Ooh, for Derek Grant. Do you want to talk about that?
Derek Grant is who has played for the Senators. No, he was drafted by the Senators, has played for the Ducks and the Penguins. So, as I'm going to pull up now, we have Derek Grant. Let's see. Derek Grant, again, not the greatest of players. He has 20 points this year in 50 games. Pretty bad. But this is also like, he's not really an NHL player. He's more of an AHL sit-down. 29 years of age, and he's played 258 career games and has 65 points. Don't give the guy such harm because kind of an AHL bust. But 29 years of age, going to be up in his 30s.
AHL
honestly,
bust. Okay, keep on going.
But honestly, this guy, like, I'm not really sure about him.
I'll tell you something, Zach. He's not going to affect your team whatsoever.
He really won't. We're probably not going to use him, but he's for the injuries.
And the 2024 round pick just boggles my mind. Like, I wouldn't trade 2021 7th round pick for this guy.
Okay. Mind-boggling, but speaking of the Flyers, as we pop up to our next trade, another former Flyer, Wayne Simmons, is dealt from New Jersey on to Buffalo. What do you think on that one, Dylan?
Yeah, well, I'm both a Devils and a Sabres fan. I really liked when the Devils picked him up earlier this year. I forget what it was for. Do you remember? Well, he was on this. He was on. Was he from Flyers to Devils?
As I believe. Let's see what happened. Wayne Simmons. Let's see. We pick up Wayne Simmons right here, and Simmons went from Philadelphia in 2018-19, and midway near the end of the year, he was dealt to Nashville because of his contract being up, and then the next year he was sent to New Jersey. And
that's
year
right.
He was sent to Buffalo.
That's right. He was traded from Nashville.
Nothing big on Wayne Simmons this year. I believe he has been injured for a lot of it. He's only played one game. So.
Yeah. And then a 2021 5th round pick. That's when you know you're not the greatest player anymore. And the next deal is Danton Heinen to Anaheim. Boston Bruins get Nick Ritchie. I haven't heard much about these two players, but Zach, how about you pull up Mr. Ritchie's page and I'll pull up Danton Heinen's. I remember this guy freaking ruined us in the playoffs. The Leafs I'm talking about. He has a lot worse of a year this year. He's got 23 points. Whereas last year he got 34 and the year before 47. There's not much.
What I can see right here is we got Nick Ritchie, who has 19 points in 42 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at how this guy's gone, he's played 288 career games and has 109 career points. Who knows? It might be something coming up for Boston on the rise, but honestly, this trade I think is a 50-50 even trade right here. Yeah,
okay. Next deal is Aaron Lutchuk to Montreal in a 2020 7th round pick for Matthew Pekka. There's not much to talk about there. Next trade, another Edmonton-Detroit trade, which sent Andreas Antanasiou and Ryan Kuffner to Edmonton for Sam Gagner, 2020 2nd round pick, 2021 2nd round pick. Zach, do you want to talk about Antanasiou a little bit?
This one's honestly kind of a fair base deal. Kleckner, not really well known in the second round picks going to Detroit for this year and the following. FSU, on the other hand, who's been a great winger for Detroit, but I think Detroit's time to start dealing some players off with already being eliminated from the playoffs. They could start trading out, and honestly, I think it's the Detroit thing to do.
I really like this guy. Last year he played great for Detroit, 54 points. This year is a little bit worse, but he has gotten injured a few times. He got a goal and an assist in his first game as an Edmonton Oiler, so good for him. If we're talking about like we said before, if this guy makes impact on the team, then the team can make impact on the playoffs. It actually says about Sportsnet on Sportsnet what it says impact here. It says it's unclear how Athanasiou got hurt. He dished 2 hits and put a shot on goal at 11 minutes during the game. Athanasiou joins a long list of injured Oilers. So in his first ever game as an Oiler, he scored 2 points, but he got injured. So
good, but not good. And if we're going to bring up the next trade right now, on this Edmonton Oilers topic, Tyler Ennis from Ottawa is dealt to Edmonton, and Edmonton gives up a 2021 fifth-round pick. And honestly, this one's not biggest of deals, Tyler Ennis being kind of centered around the league in his time of playing. Honestly, this one's kind of a win for Edmonton, and it's not much to talk about on this one. But Dylan, what are your thoughts on it? Or we can just head to the next one. Moving on.
Well, I just want to talk about it a little. I love this guy's playing style. I wish the Leafs never got rid of him because I like this guy so much. He's so fast. He has such precise vision. This guy is so good. He's got 35 points this year, which isn't even that bad. Forgot to mention, this guy scored 33. Never mind, that was this year. But last year, he only got 18 points. But I believe he wasn't playing for many games. But this guy is so good. If somebody gives him a chance, this guy will capitalize. I swear. This guy, Tyler Ennis, is so good. I really like his playing style. I think this guy is going to impact Edmonton very, very well. Here, I'm going to also, another impact thing. It says, Ennis and fellow trade acquisition Andres Athanasiou got the first chances to play in Connor McDavid's wings, and both newcomers posted a pair of points. Ennis added 4 shots on goal, 3 hits, and a +2 rating. The Edmonton native is up to 35 points, 143 shots, 79 hits, and a -3 rating through his 62 games this year. Ennis should enjoy more offensive productivity now that he's away from the lackluster Senators. But I really like this guy. Next trade, Derek Forbort goes to Calgary for a 2021 fourth-round pick. I remember hearing about Forbort. This guy obviously isn't a big name, but he's a player that Calgary just gained on their defense that is very, very needed. We'll talk about another trade in a sec, but Calgary, another defenseman. This guy's got 1 point this year, and it's an assist. Yikes. This guy's career high is 18 points. There's not much to say about this guy. I've heard about him before, but I don't think this is going to be a guy that Calgary is going to play very often. But if this guy they can put him on the third line. If he plays well, that'd be great. Maybe score a goal for once this year. Derek Forbort, listening. But yeah, 2020, I'd say this deal goes to LA. This Forbort guy has been 14 games, a point, 1 assist. Like, come on, man. Conditional 2021 fourth-round pick. That trade's going to go to Kings for me. But, Zach, I cut you off there. You can go ahead.
Let's see what we got. We're on this Derek Forbort trade. Not much to talk about on this one, but I think LA's got this in the bag on this one. Never know how it's going to happen, but Derek Forbort, not the greatest of players, as I could see. Connor Sheary.
Yeah, next deal. Connor Sheary back to Pittsburgh.
That guy's name is up and popping. And
I really
kinda
like his game. When I remember when Pittsburgh traded him away, I'm like, what are you doing? This guy's really good. He's a great goal scorer. Sheary, I remember him being on the Penguins actually before. And for Buffalo, he's got 19 points. Last year, he had 34. 2017, 2016, he had 30 and 53. This guy's a two-time Stanley Cup champion with the team. And I really like this guy's game. He's only got 19 points this year, but I think he can play really well. And he got Evan Rodriguez was also in the deal for Pittsburgh.
Buffalo getting Dominic Cahoon back in that one.
So I've heard about Cahoon. Oh my God, my wife is being terrible right now. Rodriguez has got 9 points in 39 games, so not much to talk about there. He's not that good. But if you look at Dominic Cahoon on the other side of things, this guy's got 27 points per game. Points per game, NBA. 27 points this year, 50 games played. He's injured currently, but this is his second year in the NHL. Last year he got 37. This year he's got 27. I think you can get about the same, if not higher. I really like Cahoon.
Never know.
He's injured, but yeah.
Let's see what we got on this trade. Let's not make this too long because I gotta go soon. But let's do
a deal that matters. So like this Emil DeJuice.
Sammy Vatanen and Robin Leonard. Those are two big trades that I've seen go up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Vatanen.
We'll take the kind of well-known players into hand on this one. If we're looking at that, we only really got 3 more trades to head up on this. So, Sammy Vatanen,
23 points.
Another Hurricane trade. I think the Hurricanes have that one. But New Jersey will still retain 50% of Vatanen's salary in that trade.
As a Devils fan, I do not really like our comeback. I know who Freddie Clayson is. He's not that good. I know who Jane Kuokkanen is. He's probably a prospect that I've never heard of. And then a conditional 2024 round pick, which, might be good as well. Moving on to the next trade. Robin Leonard to Vegas for Malcolm Subban, Slava Demon, 2020 second round pick. Zach, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, Robin Leonard, no one saw this one coming. Malcolm Subban off to Chicago and Slava Demon off to Chicago. 2020 second round pick via Pittsburgh. So this depends on how Pittsburgh does. In Chicago perspective, if you're a Chicago fan, you're wanting Pittsburgh to do bad, but not too bad. So you can kind of you want to do really bad. So let's say you're a Blackhawk fan. You want them to go really bad so you can get a good second round pick, which means that'll affect your overall standings. Robin Leonard, a great goalie who has been somewhere up and going in the league. Honestly, I think it's an up for Vegas. They'll have Fleury with Leonard backing him up. Two great goalies going on this one. And the last trade I'd just like to go over is Brady Shea to the Hurricanes.
Brady Shea. You go ahead, my bad.
Okay, so Brady Shea, in a 2020 first-round pick, Carolina Hurricanes will have the option of deciding which of their own or the Toronto Maple Leafs first-round pick they give to the Rangers before the draft, because the Hurricanes now have 2 first-round picks, as I can see, and they get to give one to the Leafs. So, honestly, in my opinion, I think if Carolina gets, let's say, a third pick, the third overall, and the sixth overall, they'll give the sixth overall to Toronto because your team always wants the better pick. So.
You rounded up pretty well. There's just a few more trades I want to talk about, and then we're ended off. I know Zach wants to end this off quickly. We need to soon, guys. Barclay Goodrow on a 2020 third round pick for 2020 first round pick. What is Tampa Bay thinking? Who's Goodrow has 25 points.
It's honestly like a kind of like odd pick on San Jose's side. You know Tampa's going to do good. They're going to make it to the playoffs. And then your first round pick's going to kind of go to waste because you're going to have the 29th overall pick in the first round. Like, it's going to go to waste.
But, do we think Goudreau's worth a first round pick? Right. So this is a lose-lose both ways, I believe, for both teams. Sonny Milano and Devin Shore switch. Don't know much about them. Don't want to look because that's not much. This is the last deal that I want to talk about today. Is Eric Gustafsson being traded to Calgary? If there's any more, you just let me know. But Gustafsson, a defenseman, he was now Calgary Flame. And Chicago gets a 2020 third round pick back. This Eric Gustafsson guy, he's pretty solid. He's got 26 points this year. Last year got 60, which is crazy as a defenseman. Very good for him. But the guy has 26 points, 27 actually, my bad. And third round pick, I do not think is worth it. I think Calgary won this. Now they have a whole new D line in Gustafsson and forward, whereas Gustafsson can actually do something. Yeah, and forward can't.
So one thing I'd want to kind of pick up on here is that the Flyers acquired Nathan Noel, who hasn't played in the NHL yet, who was drafted 3 or 4 years ago by Chicago, as I can recall.
I'll search him up.
Out of what I could see, he's 22 years old, and I think he might be useful for the team. In 2011 and 2012, for Bantam, he had a 104-point year, which I don't even know how that's possible. But then, JMHL having a 57-point year and 62-point year. You never know on this guy. He's kind of something you're going to have to look at, keeping your eyes open on him, but could be something, and just a prospect. You never know about these guys.
Yeah, so I believe that's all the deals we want to talk about, unless there's anything. Last deal, Daniel Sprong is dealt to Washington.
Nothing that I could see of.
Yeah, let's see. Scrolling through. Yeah, I believe that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed.
One thing I'd like to add in is that how Toronto is in the Vegas trade with Robin Lehner.
Yeah.
The Leafs retain a portion of Lehner's contract as a part of a 3-team trade. If the Leafs never were in it, it would be Chicago's job, but the Leafs chipped in on it. They got a 5th-round pick for this year, but they still have a portion of Lehner's contract, and Chicago does too.
What is Toronto
all I could think
thinking,
of today?
man? You just want to get rid of $2.5 million in cap space for a 5th-round pick. And then Kyle Dubas doesn't do anything else during the deadline. So yeah, that's about it for us, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed episode number 9 of Dylcast with Zach. Do you want to say your byes? Anything you guys want to tell? Or you want to tell?
Dylcast, done it again. Great podcast done. Hit this guy up on Instagram, Dylcast_. follow him for updates and the fastest sport kind of related ideas. And done it again, Dylan. Great podcast, and way to go.
Alright, yeah. So thanks, guys. I love you all. Listen, like Zach said, go on to Instagram, Dylcast_. Listen in on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. I love you all. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great evening. Yeet.